Babe Laufenberg on the Boomer Jacks Bar and Grill Hotline. Oh, are you a Josh Allen fan, or are you a more of a critic? You know, the turnovers, some of the reckless play, the Bills a disappointment this year. I take a lot of heat for being a huge Josh Allen fan. Where do you stand?
Oh, I'm a huge Josh Allen fan. And obviously, if you could just take away a play or two a game, the guy is like a Hall of Famer, and he still may be a Hall of Famer. But he's so fun to watch. Would you agree with that? I mean, every play looks like, oh, hey, watch this. It's 4th down and 20, and they've got to get it in the – no, it's the first quarter. It's the first play of the game. But if you just popped in, you would say, well, what was that? But, no, I'm a huge fan, obviously extremely talented. Hey, Winston Churchill said about Russia, they're a riddle wrapped in a mystery inside an enigma. and that's a little bit of Josh Allen. You watch him play to play. But I love his style, obviously tough as heck. It's funny, you watch Josh Allen play, and obviously you're watching an NFL game, but it feels like you're watching a high school game, where you've got you're a 3A team, and you got this quarterback who just carries the team, does everything, and he runs and he throws. And
yeah,
we've all been to those games, right? Where the one kid's just better than the other kids. That's what he does. Here's a good Josh Allen story for you, I think. So my son was at USC coaching, starting his coaching career there. He was an assistant to an assistant, and he had a guy on the staff. His brother, another young guy with him, and they were friends, and his brother was the head coach at, I believe, Stony Brook College, right? So the young man at SC said, hey, I watched this guy who was Josh Allen. You need to take a look at this guy. Nobody recruited Josh Allen, if you recall, out of high school. He didn't have a single offer. And they say, yeah, I don't think so. Now, do you want to have on your resume, yes, I was a head coach at Stony Brook College, and I turned down Josh Allen. That does not look on the resume. Now, obviously, a whole bunch of people turned down Josh Allen. But, no, I love him. He's hard to handle. You're going to have to use a spy on him at times because he runs so much. I'm a big fan.
So you said it's like watching a kid at a lower level, division high school. Does that mean that their team is just like, what's wrong with their team this year? They've struggled. Are they just not very talented this year?
They've struggled, but I always say too, they lost Matt Milano, who was a huge part of their defense. Nobody ever looks at that, right? I mean, you see it the day it happens, but as long as the quarterback is there and the people we recognize, right? As long as they're there, Stefon Diggs, as long as he's there, you don't really look at the guys going in and out underneath him, right? They also lost their best corner, Cadarius White. He went out, tore his Achilles in week 4. So they've had some things there, but the biggest thing to me, okay, they're 7-6, right? So they're not awful. They've lost twice in overtime. They've lost by 5 points, 4 points, 6 points, and 2 points. They lost when they had 12 guys on the field against Denver, right? But that game's over. They're going to win it until 12 guys, and then they re-kick. They lose to Philly. That game goes to overtime because Jake Elliott, Philly's kicker, hits a 59-yarder in the pouring rain. I mean, so sometimes I think you're a little bit snake bit, and I think that's been Buffalo this year. But obviously, they're a good football team. 2 games, 2 losses in overtime. The other 4 were by an average of 4 points. So nobody's beat them by a touchdown. So it's going to be a heck of a game up there.
We're talking with Babe Laufenberg here on 105 Through the Fan. Babe, how would you approach the receiving core here for Buffalo, specifically Stefon Diggs, who, it feels like is having a little bit of a tough time kind of finding his rhythm in recent weeks?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about Stefon Diggs. I mean, does there always seem to be something going on?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted out of Minnesota, then his brother tweets about get him out of Buffalo. And so he's obviously talented, but I just don't know what's going on. I wish I were closer to that situation. I do like their tight end, Dalton Kincaid. He is a player. They traded up a couple spots to get him in the first round this year, and I believe he has like 60 catches, and you can just see him kind of coming on each week. Now, he banged up his shoulder against Kansas City, so we'll have to see how that plays out, but I did see that he practiced in a limited fashion yesterday. But he's going to be a weapon. He's going to be a guy to contend with, especially down the road. Although I know Cowboy fans are only worried about this Sunday.
Babe, we always argue about this, especially in crosstalk with Bassick. But while you were on the radio, Mike Tirico and Collinsworth were relaying a conversation with Dak about how he was just raving about Mike McCarthy's offense, and he never knew football could be like this before, and the 1-2 out as we continue season long to try to compare McCarthy's offense to Kellen Moore's offense. Your take on the job that McCarthy has done lately?
Oh, I think he's been fantastic. I mean, when you look at it, you had the COVID year. Although I know everybody said, well, COVID, that doesn't count. Well, who won the Super Bowl? Tom Brady. Who wins Super Bowls in non-COVID years? Tom Brady. So it counts for a little. But, yeah, he's been fantastic. And, 12 wins in the last 2 years, going to win 12 or 13 this year, who knows? No, I mean, this team is playing well. He's got them playing well. You know what's funny is you look at Mike McCarthy. If you were to say, hey, we got an option. We get Mike McCarthy or Sean Payton. Who do you want? I think the average football fan would say, oh, Sean Payton's great. And I love Sean. Sean's a friend of mine. And this is not a disparaging remark about Sean Payton. They're the same guy.
Yeah.
McCarthy's been at it 17 years, Payton's 16. McCarthy's winning percentage is .622. Payton's is .626. In the playoffs, McCarthy is 11-10. Payton is 9-8. They've both been to and won one Super Bowl. And yet the image is Sean Payton is a genius, and McCarthy is he's a good coach, whatever. I don't know that anybody was excited when they got Mike McCarthy here to Dallas, but everybody was thrilled when they got Sean Payton to Denver, right?
Yep.
So, but they're the same guy, but the same guy being a good thing. I mean, I think they're both really, really good coaches, both knocking on the door for the Hall of Fame. And if McCarthy wins the Super Bowl here, I mean, you can punch his ticket to Canton.
For sure.
There's no doubt about that. He may be going anyway. He's going to be around long enough and win enough games. But in the parallel, they each had Hall of Fame quarterbacks, right? I mean, that's a big deal. McCarthy had Favre and then Rodgers. That doesn't happen often. And basically, Sean Payton spent his almost entire career in New Orleans with Drew Brees. So, but the funny thing I think is, to me, there are two national teams in the National Football League. The way Notre Dame is a national college, people that never went there, don't live there, are Notre Dame fans. And I feel the same way about the Cowboys in Green Bay. You find Cowboy fans everywhere, Packer fans everywhere. And he could not have coached for two dissimilar organizations, right? The one doesn't even have an owner. Green Bay is owned by the fans or whatever. And here they do have an owner. And there it's all football, and here it's a lot of glitz. And to navigate both those cities and what you have to do in each of them, and he had very little say up in Green Bay in terms of player personnel. That was Ted Thompson. That's just the way it was structured. So anyway, the bottom line is McCarthy's done a heck of a job. And again, he wins the Super Bowl here, it punches his ticket to Canton. And when you think about where he came from, and I don't know if anybody would have pointed to the tight end at Baker College and said, there walks a Hall of Fame coach. But that'll be exactly what he is.
Babe Laufenberg here on The Fan. We got less than a minute. Did you have any opinion on the Cadarius Tony controversy?
Yeah, just very quickly, we all weigh in, and I kind of hate the officials. And Kansas City is screaming, let us play. But they weren't screaming, let us play when Valdez-Scantling was getting tackled in Green Bay, were they?
Right.
On the post batter. It's like, you got to call that. Well, same situation. But here's the deal. Joe Gibbs, I played for him in Washington.
Yeah. Well.
He used to always say, I don't fine you, you fine yourself. Meaning you come in late for a meeting, you just find yourself by being late. He didn't fine you. And he'd say, I didn't fine you. So the officials didn't penalize Cadarius Tony. Cadarius Tony penalized himself.
Yes.
All you have to do, and you see it, just watch any game, the receiver turns to the official to his side, he puts his hand out, said, basically, I'm good. Every play, watch Tyreek Hill, every play, he points over. So that's on Cadarius Tony. And it was funny, too, very quickly. I heard about the play. I'm at the game. I'm 3 hours early getting to the Cowboys game, and somebody tells me, "Oh, it's see Kansas City." I said, "No, I didn't." And then when I finally saw it, I was like, "Well, of course it's Cadarius Tony."
Right. Yeah. That's the Giants.
Yeah. Yeah, they said, "Well, of course it's Cadarius."
Hey, congrats on the restaurant. Give us more details later. Name something after me and Bobby, please. And we'll hear you Sunday. Have a great trip.
I will do that. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, brother. Babe Laufenberg, brought to you by Johnson Fitness and Wellness Home Fitness Equipment Stores.